Over the last 4 years, I've been putting out inspirational videos and tutorials all about stained glass on social media. These have all been pre-recorded videos, and now we're taking that to the next level, and you, the creative community, can help me build it. I'm going to go out once a week live from my studio here in Leicestershire in the UK. I'll start with things like working with dipping pens, and I'll answer your questions as we go through the live stream, so you can ask anything you like about stained glass. So on the live stream, you'll have the option to type in your questions. It'll come up on the feed here, and I'll be able to answer it in real time. It's really exciting to be able to do this, and together we'll build this live stream into something that works for everybody. Well, let's do a live stream. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's live stream. It's the 3rd of March 2026. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to today's live stream, broadcasting live from my studio here in Leicestershire to the international community of fellow creatives around the world. It's fantastic to see people joining the chat today, coming on from Facebook and from YouTube. And first out the gates this evening, David Elliott. Good evening, everybody from Suffolk, UK. Good evening, David, and welcome on board. First in the chat today. It is great that you're here. Fantastic to see you. Looking forward to meeting you very soon for our masterclass, meeting you in person here at the studio. Can't wait to say hello to you. And thank you for joining the stream today. Thunderwood Underwood is also joining us. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you too, Thunderwood Underwood. I hope you're well. I hope everyone is well. We're not getting any gremlins tonight, I hope. I hope everything is running. I can check in all the streams. It looks like Facebook is up and running. We've got people watching on YouTube as well. Yeah, it all seems to be running. Fingers crossed. Let's hope it continues this way for the whole of the stream. You know what it's like, everyone. We sometimes we get issues with gremlins, but we're okay so far. So Thunderwood Underwood, good evening to you, and Anthony Franchino 6132. Hello from North Carolina. I've just completely butchered your name. I do apologize, Anthony. It's fantastic to see you here. A channel member from North Carolina. Fantastic. Welcome to you. I hope you're well. How has your week been so far, Anthony? Have you had a good week? What is your day up to today? Are you doing some glass painting perchance? Do let us know in the chat. It would be wonderful to get your news. And Original Pals, hi everyone, another channel member, Original Pals. Hello to you too. Welcome on board, a channel member. So good that you're joining us again, a regular on the stream. Original Pals, fantastic that you're here. Welcome to you. And to everyone who's on Facebook, welcome to you guys. As it says here, during this broadcast, you can support my page by sending stars, a digital gift that helps me earn money. What is that? It's basically a tip. And if you guys feel like giving a tip on the stream, that is fantastic. On YouTube, you can press the little $sign down by the chat icon. It just donates a small amount of money towards this stream. As you know, I'm trying to build up this international community of fellow creatives for the benefit of everyone. We reached a recent milestone a couple of days ago on Sunday, which was 40,000 subscribers, all down to you guys. Thank you so much to everybody who has consistently showed up for the live streams over the last few months, both on YouTube and on Facebook, for becoming channel members, especially my channel members, because you make a financial commitment to help the channel. It just helps me to create more content for this amazing international community. We are now 40,000 strong on YouTube. We are now 42,000 strong on Facebook. Come on, YouTube. We need to catch up. Facebook is overtaking us. Come on, guys, on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button if you're following us, but you haven't yet subscribed. Quite a few people watch the channel without becoming subscribers. Why is it important? It's a free thing to do. It doesn't cost you anything to do, but it helps. It signals to YouTube basically that there's an audience out there for this type of content. What's the content? Well, it's all about the wonderful world of stained glass. I'm a professional stained glass artist. I've been running my own studio for 40 years, making new work for public buildings, for churches, for private homes. I do conservation work. I teach glass painting over at Ely Stained Glass Museum at Ely Cathedral, and I teach here in my studio. I'm basically committed to passing on the skills to the next generation of glass artists. And as we're building up this community, it really helps us to spread this news to as many people as possible. So hitting the subscribe button on YouTube is a great way to tell YouTube that you're interested in this content and that there are people out there who want to know more about stained glass. It doesn't cost you anything to do it. And if you can hit that subscribe button, it really does help us to kind of get the momentum going. And this is what we're trying to do, is to develop the momentum with you guys, this amazing international creative community where we talk about stained glass, we engage with one another, we share ideas, we share experiences on this creative journey. I learn from you guys just as much as hopefully you learn from me. It's a sharing experience where there's no gatekeeping on knowledge and good quality information and best advice. I learn from a lot of the fantastic fellow creatives who are on the chat today, and one of those is Petri, and I can see you here, Petri. Evening to you. Welcome on board. Petri is a fabulous glass artist in his own right. He's putting on his own courses where he's teaching glass painting at his studio, and he is an all-round fantastic person to get involved with. If you are following Petri on Facebook or Instagram, Mongoose Stained Glass is his tag name on Instagram. Petri Anderson. Petri, welcome. I hope you're well. I know you haven't been well recently, but I hope you're back to 100% fitness. Great to see you. I'm really looking forward to coming down to visit you in your studio sometime very, very soon. We'll set up a date. We'll be in correspondence really soon on that, Petri. And Ride Forth Singing. Hi all, another channel member. Good evening to you, Ride Forth Singing. Welcome. Great to see you. I hope you're well. Do tell us your news. What have you been up to? Give me your news, please. We're all wanting to hear from each other what your journey is in stained glass. If you're doing an online course, if you're learning something new, if you want to share an idea, anything you have, any questions you have about stained glass, making stained glass, designing stained glass, conserving and restoring stained glass will be a feature of tonight's live stream. I've got a sneak peek video to show you guys of a tutorial that I'm putting together. I'm in the last sort of 20% of completing it, which is the conservation of a Victorian tracery panel, which I took out a little while ago. It's a lot of painting to do on, well, a bit of painting to do on it, stripping down, re-leading, and I just go through the whole process. I don't often make conservation videos. It's usually new design videos to help people who are maybe starting in the world of stained glass and they're wanting to make light catchers or copper foil work or learn how to cut glass or solder glass, really kind of early 101 stuff. But sometimes I go into a deeper dive and show you some of the more complex processes. This video, which is coming out I think next week, will show you the whole process of conserving a damaged Victorian stained glass window with missing painted sections and some inscription which is in Latin, which we've had translated, and we're repainting some Latin text. I thought it would be interesting for you guys to take you through the whole process. So it's a start to finish of the whole conservation process and the whole method. I really don't do that very often, and I talk about it a little bit in the video that generally speaking, conservation of historically valuable or interesting glass should be done by people who have training and have some experience in it. I'm not really encouraging amateurs to just start trying to conserve our heritage, our glass heritage. It really has to be held in great respect and high regard, in the sense that you want people with a lot of training who handle this type of work. The reason is basically because if you mess it up, you've damaged some of the heritage of our glass, our glass heritage here in the UK or wherever you are in the world, and you only get one shot at it. If you've damaged it, then it's forever damaged for the next generations ahead of us. So I'm always kind of slightly reticent about talking too much about conservation work, but I also want to kind of describe and show and illustrate the complexities of conservation and restoration of damaged glass, because it is a complicated process. There are lots of sequences and lots of steps to go through. So I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek of this video, and the reason it's delayed until next week is this week, I think on Thursday of this week, I'm going to be installing the window into its final location, which is an east window of a church not far from here. So I'm going to be filming that process, and once it's filmed and once the window is back into position, then we can complete the story of the conservation of that particular tracery panel. And I've edited, as I say, 80% of it. There's a small bit left to do, which is the installation work and just tidying up the edges, and that will go out next week for you guys. It's early access just now to my channel members, my wonderful channel members, many of whom are joining us tonight. You're getting a sneak peek early, channel members, so check that out. There's quite a lot of channel member only content available on my YouTube channel for those of you who are Derek's channel members. There's 2 tiers that you can join in. One is as a channel member, where you get a star and it lets me know that you are joining the channel, but then there's a next tier up where you contribute a little bit more to get early access to lots of videos, tutorials, shorts, etc. Peter, hello Peter, welcome. After a coffee, I'm excited to be watching. Fantastic, welcome on board. It is great that you're joining us today. Peter and I were in conversation earlier on today. Peter, over in Australia, joining us on a private live stream for my course members on Enamel Painting 101, which is an online course which many of you are taking up. It's fantastic. It's selling very well. A lot of you are interested in learning about enamels, and I do a once a month online live stream tutorial with the students who are taking the course. It's not available for the public. You have to be on the course to do it, and we talk about sticking points or areas of clarification or helping you through the course. It's an ongoing thing that I do every month. And if you buy the course, you've got forever access to the course and to each month's online stream. And Peter joined the stream at 4 o'clock in the morning, Australia time, to be part of it. That's commitment. Fantastic. Welcome on board. It's great to see you here. And Kate is also joining us. Evening, folks. Have we all got our 40,000 party hats on to congratulate Derek on his subscriber count? Kate, bless you so much. Thank you so much, Kate, for coming onto the stream. And thank you for your kind words, your lovely words. Earlier on today. I'm just going to add you to as a moderator, because I can now do this. So Kate, you are now a moderator of my chat. There are 1 or 2 of you who are moderators, partly because if you were on the live stream last week, you realize you might remember that it was sort of hijacked a little bit by people who were coming on and just spamming the chat with lots of kind of nonsense. Harmless nonsense, let's face it. It wasn't particularly toxic or bad. It was just spamming the chat with lots of kind of irrelevancies. And what was happening was it was crowding out the text messages or the chat messages from you guys who I'm really here to serve. I'm here for you guys to answer your questions over the next hour or hour and a half on this live stream. And when people jump onto the chat and just spam it with a whole lot of nonsense, it kind of takes up a lot of my bandwidth in terms of what I'm seeing on my screen here, and I can't get back to the questions. So guys, do ask your questions today in the stream. I'm here to answer your questions in real time. And Kate, if you happen to see somebody who is toxic or is just kind of talking nonsense, you've now got the ability to just time them out for 10 minutes to give them like a little timeout. We tend not to kind of ban people unless they're being particularly nasty or toxic or they're saying stuff that is out of line. But do alert me if you see anything, and you've got the ability, Kate, as a moderator, to just time people out if you see anything that might look like spam. Conduit One, hi, I'm on time. Conduit One, welcome. You are indeed on time. Welcome to the live stream today. It is fantastic to see you here. Thunderwood, of course. Congrats, Derek. Thank you so much, Thunderwood Underwood. It is wonderful that you are here today. And I think you are also, Thunderwood Underwood, yes, you are. You're a moderator also, because you are very much a regular here on the channel. So you have the same moderator rights as Kate has. If you see spam, or if you see people that are, being kind of ridiculous on the chat and taking up a lot of the kind of chat real estate with silly questions or whatever, you've got the chance to time them out if you see that there. It just helps me along. What happened was we were getting a lot of people on the stream last week. I think it ended up being about 460 people currently viewing on YouTube alone. And then we had people on Facebook. And people were just kind of like spamming the chat. So, as I say, we're just going to put some moderators in place to try and keep that under control. It may well not happen this week. We may be back to our normal kind of core audience, which would be wonderful. Early bird today, Sarah Art and Glass. Early bird indeed, Sarah. Welcome on board. It's fantastic that you're joining us. How are you? What are you up to? Do tell us, Sarah. We'd love to hear your news. What are you working on at the moment? Have you got anything on the bench exciting you can tell us about? Or any questions that you have? Do ask them in the chat. I'm here for the next hour and a half to answer your questions. Bethy says, hi, I'm wanting to make a gravestone out of stained glass for my father. Do you have any advice on how to keep it from being so weathered through the years? Beth or Bethy, yeah, wow, what a great question, Beth. I'm sorry to hear about your passing of your father. You want to make a gravestone out of stained glass. Okay, well, stained glass in principle is pretty durable. It does last for centuries. It is pretty much weather resistant and water resistant if it's properly made and properly cemented. The downside is that it can be quite fragile if it's a freestanding stained glass window that you can see on either side of it, and the light passes through it. The potential is for it to be damaged because it's simply made of glass and lead, and people can damage it. I've seen glass set into a mosaic form on stone, so you're basically cutting up colored pieces of principally opaque glass or opalescent glass. And if you know the difference, Bethy, between opalescent glass and transparent glass, obviously transparent glass you can see all the way through it. It has colors, it has maybe patterns in it, bubbles and striations, but you can see through it. Opalescent glass is entirely non-transparent. It has a color to it within the body of the glass, and it may let light pass through it, but it's not translucent and you can't see through it. And very often I've seen that type of glass, the opalescent glass, which comes in lots of different colors, used as a mosaic. So it's cut up into lots of delicate little shapes and stuck down onto a bed. And that can be onto a wooden bed, usually with silicone glue or mosaic glue. I'm not exact, because I don't make mosaics, I'm not entirely sure the types of glue, but I think there are rubberized glues. Again, you're going to have to Google that. But that, I think, would be the best solution for you, because opalescent glass can be seen from front-facing light. And so if you can make a plaque or a design in opalescent glass in a mosaic form, you can set that into a stone gravestone, and that will be pretty much vandal proof. It'll still read as a stained glass window because it's made of glass. You can cut it into as intricate patterns and shapes as you like. That would be my suggestion, Bethy. A mosaic gravestone for your father would be very durable, long-standing, and I think would fit the bill pretty well. I'd go down that route rather than using transparent glass. I hope that's answered your question. Do come back onto the chat, Bethy, and ask a supplementary question to that, or ask for clarification if you can. Thunderwood Underwood, fingers crossed. Yeah, fingers crossed. There's nothing untoward today, but Thunderwood Underwood, thank you for being there. It is fantastic. Howdy from West Georgia, Jerry Z. We were talking person to person about an hour and a half ago, Jerry, because Jerry is also on my Enamel Painting 101 Masterclass, the online course. And Jerry, we were talking about the challenges of finding enamels and paints and stains in the States, and also in other parts of the world as well. You know, it can be problematic at the moment. We're going through a really challenging time. There's no sugaring that pill. It is challenging to find our paints, our tracing blacks and our browns and our enamel stains and our yellow stains. But, you know, it's going to change. I believe that there's a change in the wind in terms of the supply chain for our enamels and paints and stains. Rogue Enamels, who are a Canadian company that specialize in making an amazing array of glass emulsions, enamels, etc., are bringing out a new range. I'm testing, or just about to test, a new range of enamels that are being produced through the company of Rogue Enamels, based up in Canada. We're testing them, just trying to kind of make sure that they are ready for retail, ready to be sold in the open market. Very exciting to be involved in that testing program, which is about to start. I'm just about to sign a little agreement, which I'm very happy to do, because I'm really keen to kind of bring as many choices to you, the consumers, as I possibly can. So there's new enamels coming on stream. Fuse Master, as we've spoken of on a variety of other live streams, have bought the recipe rights to Reusch paints and stains and enamels. I've got those recipes and are in the process of recreating them now and bringing them to market. So hold on, guys. There's new products coming to the market soon. They'll be stocking up our supply chain shelves, I'm hoping, in the next 2 or 3 months. That's what I'm hoping. But, you know, we're going to get more glass stains and paints and enamels coming in, hopefully sometime pretty soon. Another channel members, BKC Woolen Help. Hello from Michigan. Hello to you too, BKC Woolen Help. Great to see you. Great to see you. And thank you so much for being a channel member. It is really, really appreciated. Thank you for your support. Conduit One, you're from Michigan too. Awesome news. And hello from India, Raid Hamija 77. Welcome to you all the way from India. This is a truly international group of fellow creatives. It's fantastic that you're joining us today from India. Welcome on board. Do ask any questions that you may have on the stream. I'm here to answer your questions over the next hour or so. Welcome to you. It's fantastic that you're here. Anthony says, I'm having a great week. On a whim, I asked ChatGPT to design a stained glass window. I gave it some design parameters to start with, like a Roman arch window and the size and the theme, sunset. Wow. Okay, this is interesting. This is very interesting because, I put out a few shorts at the moment just talking about AI and the fact that it's here to stay, guys. You know, it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. Yes, it is stealing our creativity. Yes, it is taking it, not asking permission to use it. It's regurgitating it. And that horse has bolted. You know, we can't kind of scrape that information back. They've done the dirty on all of us and taken that information from us. That being said, it is out there, and ChatGPT and all the other kind of agentic AI agents are only going to get better and better. So, we can stick our heads in the sand and pretend that they don't exist, or we could find a way of coexisting. And I believe that we're going to have to find a way of coexisting with this new world that is fast taking over a lot of our kind of day-to-day work. It's a really interesting set of conversations that are full all over the internet at the moment. If you watch, I do dip into lots of different platforms: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. And there's lots of conversations about AI and agentic AI, which is basically self-determining AI, which makes its own decisions and goes out and finds information and makes things happen. It's like having your own personal assistant, your own personal PA that will source material and make suggestions for you. Agentic AI and agent AI is here. They're pretty much here now, and they're going to be doing more and more work for us. So the fact, Anthony, that you have asked ChatGPT to design a stained glass window, it would be great if we could see that. I don't know if you're able to send me on some format, I don't know, on an email or whatever, an image. I might be able to put it up on the stream today. I don't know if I can. Might be too much trouble to try and do it now, but yeah, chat. Guys, have you been using AI to design stained glass? Have you been using AI for other work, research work? Have you been using AI to help you source answers to questions? I tend to find when I make Google questions now, rather than having a whole host of answers, I get an AI generated answer. And I tend to read that first. And the problem is that I tend not to read the other answers that come up on Google search engines. And also, a lot of us have relied historically over the last 7 or 8 years on Google's search engine putting our website up as a solution to a question. All of that is going away, and AI is now taking over and answering the questions for us, removing the chance for us to be directly represented to a questioner asking a question. For example, if you're in Michigan, what stained glass studios are there close by in Michigan? Or how do I create stained glass windows? Or, in Michigan, you may well get a more generic AI-based answer to that rather than getting the Michelin or Michigan studio answers, specific studios based in the Michigan area. Those kind of answers are going away from Google, and we're getting these AI-generated answers. So it's evolving and changing. Social media is one great big experiment. It is forever changing. It doesn't stay still. I know that from my sort of 4 years of working on YouTube or engaging with YouTube. It has changed in the 4 years, and it will continue to change because YouTube is experimenting with what they've created. They've created this mammoth thing which is rivaling television as a medium. More people, I think, are watching YouTube than are watching Netflix and Prime and Amazon and all those other streaming platforms put together. It's a massive thing, YouTube, and it's experimenting with how it engages with the general population, and it's changing what social media is. Google is changing and how we interact with Google, and it's AI generated very much more. So I think rather than hiding our heads in the sand, we as creative people need to engage with AI as well. So do let me know in the questions or in the chat, have you been engaging with AI in your day-to-day work as well? Kate says, I've just taken on a new commission of a door side light, but it's very thin and tall. 220 millimeters wide by 1,910 millimeters tall. My goodness, that's 7 feet tall and more, and just under a foot wide. Strengthening ideas? Will encapsulation be enough? A zinc frame? Or will it still need extra? Great question, Kate. What a fantastic question. So you're putting it into a double glazed unit, encapsulation. So encapsulation will, in principle, sandwich the window between two panes of glass. And if it's a door panel, a side door panel, they will be toughened glass, because I think it'll probably be going down to the ground level. Anything which is below 1 meter in height has to be toughened glass. And so your panel, if it goes down to below 1 meter in height, with building regulations, means that it has to be toughened glass. So the whole thing has to be toughened glass. And the door panel has to be toughened glass as well. So that will hold the panel in place. What will happen though is, if your stained glass window is in a door panel, the stained glass window will rattle inside that 2 panes of glass. So cementing the door panel and cementing the side panels will help reduce the potential for rattling, which you will get as the door opens and closes. It's always slightly perilous putting it in a front door panel because of the movement of the door panel. Also, you tend not to get any guarantees when you put stained glass inside encapsulated units. Normally, encapsulated units have a 10-year guarantee. You probably won't, or the customer probably won't get any guarantees when you double glaze it. So cementing it is one thing you can do, and then let it sit for a couple of weeks at least for that cement to cure and give the window a really good clean. And then transporting it and getting your glass company to handle the glass, especially at 1910 millimeters tall. Don't forget, glaziers are not accustomed to handling stained glass that's floppy and it moves around. They'll pick it up and it'll bend. And so putting zinc around the perimeter will give it some rigidity. It certainly will help to stop it laterally bending. Whether it will still fit into the double glazed unit, you're going to have to talk to your encapsulation people, because normally if you're putting a stained glass window into a double glazed unit, you would use a Y section lead. So you imagine a capital Y with 2 up stands and one vertical down stand. The vertical down part is trapped between the 2 spacer bars of a double glazed unit, and the Y section holds the rest of the window in place. That's what's normally used. So you're going to have to, if you want to put zinc U-channel around the outside, Kate, talk to your double glazing people first of all to make sure you can do that. But just consider the fact that they're going to have to handle a big panel like that without it bending. Definitely cement it, clean it off. That would be my suggestion for you. Hope that helps, Kate. The hot potato. What do you think of Von Stuck art? Don't know. I don't know what Von Stuck art is. Von Stuck art. I have no idea what that is. Anthony Franco says, the program is impressive. It followed up with other design questions and allows you to iterate. Output includes a cartoon, a blueprint, and came and frame recommendations. It's amazing how it works. Wow, Anthony, that is fantastic. I wonder what a blueprint is. I know what a cartoon is, but what's a blueprint? It outputs a cartoon, a blueprint, came and frame recommendations. It's amazing how it works. Yeah, I'm sure it will be. And I think the more times people inquire as to things like ChatGPT about questions like how to design a stained glass window, the better ChatGPT gets at answering it. It may be slightly inaccurate in some aspects, but every time it gives you an answer and asks you to kind of, it usually says, is that the right answer? Or you can say, is that a good answer or a bad answer? It learns, and it learns from all of us. So in a way, we're the teacher. You know, we're teaching ChatGPT and other agentic AI how to answer those questions better and more fulsomely and more accurately. So it's really good to hear, Anthony, that you're getting impressive results. Underwood, wow. That is tall and thin. I've had those zinc frames. Zinc framing would be enough. As it's so narrow, I'd have thought zinc framing would be enough. As it's so narrow. Yeah. I think you're right, possibly Underwood, that zinc framing would certainly help. Together with cementing the window would help as well. Patsy Posey on Facebook. Hello, everyone. Patsy Posey, welcome. Thank you again for joining us on the live stream on Facebook. It's brilliant that you're here. Thanks so much for being part of this amazing creative community. Patsy, do ask any questions that you may have through Facebook. It is fantastic that you're joining us in the Besto Project. Another regular good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to you, Besto Project. It's great that you're here as well. Hello, Charlotte. Charlotte Saville, the one and only Charlotte. Hello, Charlotte. Welcome on board. Charlotte is a glass artist extraordinaire, along with Kate Lavender, both of whom I mentored on the BBC show Make It at Market. I saw Charlotte before Christmas to do a little bit more filming with her for Make It at Market. I think that's coming out sometime this spring. Brilliant, Charlotte. How are you? I hope you're well. I know you and Kate went over to the Glass Day with Elliot Walker at Stourbridge. I saw the amazing social media stuff that you were sending through on Instagram and Facebook. It looks like it was a fantastic day. The big question is, girls, ladies, not girls, why am I calling you girls? Ladies, did you buy some Elliot Walker glass? Did you buy any glass, Kate? Did you buy any glass, Charlotte, from Elliot Walker? I know it's expensive, but it's so tempting when you see it in the flesh, isn't it? Welcome, Charlotte. Fantastic to see you here today. Thanks, Derek. I'll get on to it. Hey, Charlotte, says Kate. Fantastic. Petri says, there is a cool cafe bar in Mayfair worth visiting. It's a converted church with nice stained glass. St. Mark's, North Audley Street, West 1. Fantastic. Okay, that's great. Petri, you're answering a question. I'm not exactly sure what that question is. I may find that question further up. But Petri, thank you so much. Please do, guys, if you see a question in chat, feel free to answer it. We are a collective, a hive mind. I don't pretend to have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. And I put questions out to you guys, the creative community, to answer these questions. Have a look on chat, as Petri is doing, and answering questions. We're here for the benefit of everyone. This is what we're here to do, to help one another for the course of the day. David, hi Derek, it's great to join. Brilliant that you're joining us, David, a documentary filmmaker. We're working together to make a documentary all about the preservation, conservation, and encouragement of the next generation to get into stained glass. And we have been doing quite a lot of filming together. David, it's fantastic that you're here. Thank you again so much for your questions and your suggestions last week. I did take a note of them because we had our chat somewhat hijacked by some randoms who came on and took up a lot of the chat space. I didn't get, during the live stream, David, to your fantastic suggestions, but I got to them after the live stream finished, and I copied all of your live streams down onto a spreadsheet. And any questions, any suggestions you guys have, as David did last week, for possible new tutorials or videos or inspirational content for my YouTube channel, pop them in the chat, because I'm here to kind of provide you guys with the best quality help, inspiration and advice and tutorials and recommendations that I possibly can. And I'm reliant on you guys making suggestions. And David put out some fantastic suggestions last week in the chat, which I've taken a note of, and I'm building up a spreadsheet of potential new YouTube videos which will migrate onto Instagram and will be migrated onto Facebook as well, for the benefit of everyone. It's not just I just don't want to kind of like invent videos every week. I would much rather answer specific questions. We had a question in the stream two live streams ago about what's the difference between paints and stains and enamels. It was a brilliant question. So I went into an answer on the difference between paint, stains and enamels, which I then clipped from the live stream and made into a longer form tutorial with added B-roll and added kind of illustrative background films showing everything that I was describing during the answer on the live stream. And it's a great way of generating content for you guys. It was a great question, and it allowed me the opportunity to kind of slot into kind of answer mode and give you that answer and give you that information. So any suggestions you guys have in chat, for potential future videos, pop them into chat, and I will. They're all going into a database. They're all going into a spreadsheet for potential new videos to be made. David says, if you use high heart lead to incorporate a copper foil section behind clear outer glass, how do you manage the height difference to the normal height of adjacent cames? If you use high heart lead to incorporate a copper foil section, yeah. How do you manage the height difference? So that's a great question, David. So wide heart lead or high heart lead is designed to accommodate thicker pieces of glass. So you've got your section of lead, which is normally like a capital H turned on its side, and the glass goes into either side of normal hearted lead. Normal glass is about 3 millimeters or maybe 4 millimeters thick. So the normal heart of a lead is about 5 millimeters thick. And that allows the cement to just move in between the glass and the lead and weatherproof the window when you come to cement it. But some handmade glasses, or if you're double plating glass, will be a lot thicker than 5 mil. It might be 6 mil. It might be 7 millimeters in thickness. And if it is that thick, you're going to need to get some wide heart lead that will accommodate much thicker glass. The arts and crafts movement, which was precipitated or started by Christopher Wall back in the early 1900s, started using slab glass, which is really thick glass, handmade antique glass, which is blown into a box cylinder, and then when it's cooled, this cube of glass is cut up into 5 faces, and it can be quite thick. So the arts and crafts movement started using wide heart lead. It was used previously to that, but it started becoming very popular at the beginning of the 19th century for arts and crafts glass. And if you look at an arts and crafts window, you'll see thick lead soldered next to thin lead, thick lead soldered next to thin lead, as thick pieces of glass are leaded together next to thin pieces of glass. And to answer your question, David, you simply have to bridge the drop between a thick piece of lead and a thin piece of lead, sometimes by putting a lead flange or a piece of copper foil between the thick lead and the thin lead to allow you to trail solder across between the thick piece of glass, the thick piece of lead, and the thin piece of lead. It's not very obvious on the outside of a window, because normally you will lead a window up with the painted side facing up, and you will lead it together, so you'll have proud lead next to narrow lead. But when you solder that side of the window up and then turn it over, all of your lead is then flush because it was all resting on the tabletop. So that disparatory difference between the thick lead and the thin lead is only visible usually on the inside of stained glass windows. So bridge that difference between the height difference between thick lead and thin lead by using a lead flange that you can run your hot solder between and just get a nice smooth joint, or use a piece of copper foil, that kind of thing that you'll need to do in order to kind of get a nice even piece of solder that doesn't look too chunky and too kind of like overdone. It's kind of tricky to do. You have to work at it, David, to make it work well, but you can do it. Donat Dasser King says, come to Croatia. I'd love to come to Croatia one day. I've heard amazing things about Croatia. I've heard amazing things about your medieval churches and your beautiful murals still visible on the walls in churches in Croatia. I'd love to visit one day. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, maybe one day. I'd love to get to Croatia. Thank you for that, Donat Dasser King on Facebook. Thank you so much for being part of the stream today. I really love that. Thank you. Thunderwood Underwood says, I figured it out as I go, not done some moderating before. Yeah, well, that's it. Really, it's just it's just to be aware of it. That's all. Just, if you see somebody spamming things, and I miss it, because I will miss things along the way, I'm sure. I can see quite a lot of things in the chat here. I'm sure they're all great, but if they are, things that people are causing a little bit of issue, you can always time them out along the way. Another channel member says, hey guys, greetings from Hungary. Sorry for being late. Nadia, you're not late. It's wonderful that you're here. Fantastic. Join in. We've got people from all over the world joining us today, from India, from Hungary, from all over Europe and Croatia and the States, and from Australia. It is, you know what? It's just the four corners of the world. This is what it's all about, guys. This amazing creative community. Welcome to everybody who's part of it today. Gentle Glass, hello, good evening. Welcome again to you. It's fantastic that you're here. It's great that you're joining. You haven't been on the stream for a few weeks, or at least you haven't said hello in chat. It's brilliant that you're here. Great to see you. Great to see you. And Bethy says it would be concreted for the most part, but it would be see-through. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, if you're going to make it see-through, Bethy, then possibly make it with a zinc perimeter to it, which is going to give it a little bit of strength. You may also even want to make it into a double glazed unit. We were talking a little bit earlier in the stream, which I think you were on earlier, of making a stained glass, encapsulating a stained glass window inside a double glazed unit. You could put the two outer panes of the glass as toughened glass. And if you make it into a double glazed unit, you could put it into your concrete gravestone with toughened glass on either side of it. That's a possible solution, Bethy. Again, you may have to talk to your stonemason or whoever it is who's making the gravestone for you about how to incorporate a double glazed stained glass window. But it's doable. You have to have a little bit of thinking about it, but it is doable. Donna Dasser King, I love learning from you. Donna Dasser King, welcome. It's so good that you're here. Thank you. I'm really glad that I'm able to help you. This is what it's all about. We spend time with each other to help one another along the way. Original Pal says, Thunderwood Underwood, I'm sure you'll get into it immediately and do a wonderful job. Yeah, fantastic. Bethy says, I don't think about doing it as a mosaic. Thank you for your condolences, and thank you so much for your advice and answering my question. You're welcome, Bethy. Yeah. Good luck. It sounds like a wonderful thing you're doing, and come back onto the stream and let us know how you get on. It would be wonderful to hear how things develop with that particular creative project of yours. Sarah says, just finished making some small things for an upcoming exhibition and looking forward to some time off work later this month, and plan to do the Enamel 101 online and see where that takes me next. Sarah, that is fantastic. I think you'll enjoy it. I hope you'll enjoy it. Getting good feedback from those who are taking it at the moment, and we can talk in person. We are meeting once a month on a private live stream to help you through the course and to help you along the way. So yeah, Sarah, it would be fantastic to see you on the Enamel Painting 101 course. Charlotte says, Bethy, you could also get a glazier to encapsulate a piece of stained glass in triple glazing. Absolutely, Charlotte. Great minds think alike, eh? Fantastic. Right forth singing. I do classes of garden stakes using transparent silicons onto a product similar to plexiglass, but much tougher, and it could be framed into a frame as well. Right forth singing. Fantastic. Plexiglass. I hadn't thought about that, but of course. Transparent silicons onto plexiglass. Yeah. There you go, Bethy. I hope you're getting some food for thought with this amazing creative community, with suggestions. Hey, Charlotte, coming on again. Patsy says, hello from Deva Stained Glass. Patsy, fantastic. Deva, I'll have a look for that on Facebook later. Deva Stained Glass. Brilliant. Thank you so much. And guys, do give a shout out to yourselves, for this creative community, for people to follow you and you to follow them. This is what it's about. If you've got a Instagram page, or if you've got a Facebook page, or even a YouTube channel, pop it into the chat, because we can follow one another. As we grow and develop, we can grow and develop together. Thunderwood Underwood says, watch Hannah Fry's program on AI. Not seen it myself yet, but it's been told it's quite concerning. Yeah, I've seen trailers for that. I love Hannah Fry. Professor Hannah Fry. Isn't she just fantastic? She's absolutely brilliant. She's so accessible and human and down to earth. Brilliant brain and a great way of explaining things. Yeah, I'm going to watch that Thunderwood Underwood, that's on my watch list, definitely. There's so many things out now on AI and this revolution that is kind of taking us over, this tsunami that's washing over all of us, but I will watch it. Thank you for that, Professor Hannah Fry's program on artificial intelligence. Guys, if you're enjoying the stream, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button on Facebook as well. Tell the algorithm that we want to have more of this on our social media posts to build our creative community. That's what it's all about. It's about building together and learning together. Nadia says, right, AI can draw for us, but can't create a real window for us. You're absolutely right. Yeah, that's it. I mean, AI is basically, at the moment, is a kind of like a word predictor. It predicts the next word in a sentence, and it's very good for kind of like helping you kind of generate concept ideas or a train of thought, and you can put questions in and it can kind of make suggestions for you. And I think it's really useful for ideation, that term, which is a really weird term, but the generation of ideas or the flow of ideas. But the actual instigation of creativity is a very human endeavor, and it will forever remain at its core a human endeavor. And artificial intelligence, even agentic AI, will produce replicas and generational content which is based on what we produce. But when you think about it, AI is currently being trained on the current available human knowledge. That is now being polluted by AI. So as it continues to kind of train, it's going to self-cannibalize, isn't it? It's going to be eating its own content because it's going to crowd out the human content. And it's like feeding cows to cows. You're going to get, mad cow disease or mad AI disease, where it just is basically feeding off of itself. It's got the best source of information, well, I would say probably about a year ago, which was an undiluted human natural resource of human intellect, human intelligence, human creativity, unsullied by AI interference and by AI slop. AI slop is vastly polluting this database of information. And when you think about it, AI is naturally sabotaging its own future because it is self-replicating nonsense. It's hallucinating, it's getting things wrong. Yes, it's getting better in lots of ways, but it's also cutting off the source, the kind of like the secret sauce, which is the human creative spark that generated. We are the father of AI, we are the mother of AI, we're the instigators of AI. And if AI just crowds out our conversations with its own conversation, I don't think it's going to have a great resource to kind of develop future ideas and future creativity. It can riff on the current creativity of humans. It can take what we've put out onto the world and riff on that and develop and augment and change and alter that form of creativity. But I'm not sure that it's going to be very good at developing new forms of creativity, or, for example, new forms of music. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, for me, the litmus test is a poem about grief. We were talking earlier with Beth about her creating a gravestone for her father, which is her, I presume, I would never wish to put words in her mouth, but do something beautiful to respect the memory of her father and to kind of come to terms with her grief. Say we have a beautiful poem written by somebody who's gone through that whole grief process, and it's a touching, emotional poem, and then you sit that next to a poem about grief written by AI. What a piece of nonsense the poem written by AI will be, because it will be faking emotions. It will be pretending to feel grief. It will be pretending to have tears rolling down its face. It doesn't know what emotions really are. All it's doing is mimicking our emotions. It's like the Sleeping Beauty, the talking mirror. It's basically us being reflected back to ourselves, but in a fake, artificial way. I would never want to read a poem about grief at someone's funeral if it was written by AI. What an insult, don't you think? The essence of human creativity is actually feeling what you're writing about, or feeling what you're creating, feeling what you're drawing, feeling what you're painting. The music that you're composing, it's because it comes from a place, this mystical place of human existence. And AI can't replicate that. It can mimic it, but it can't replicate it. But it is interesting. AI is interesting. Yeah, I use AI to help me design. Okay, that's fine. Use it as a riffing mechanism, as a way to kind of like generate ideas, but please be creative. Continue to exercise that creative muscle. If we cede our creativity to AI, we stop exercising that muscle and we lose it. You know, you use it or lose it. So I'm all for continuing our email. I'm all for continuing to exercise our creative muscle. My email address is derek@derek-hunt.com. You'll find it on my YouTube channel, derek@derek-hunt.com. Patsy Posey says, I love the gothic looking lions and dragons in old stained glass window painting. Is there a reference book out there somewhere that has photos of them? I'm sure there are. Books on dragons in stained glass. I don't know how many dragons there are in old stained glass windows. There are lions, yes, because lions are a biblical reference in the book of Revelations. The lion lays down with the lamb is a sort of a reference to Christ. So there are religious references to lions. There aren't religious references to dragons. You've got no, there are religious references to dragons. The dragon is being slain. So there are references to dragons in stained glass, but not that many. Thunderwood and Woods, I always cross-check anything AI says with a trusted website, especially health-related. It can be dangerous. Yeah, it can definitely be dangerous. Yeah. AI is getting good at some things, and it's going to get great at a lot of white-collar work in the next 18 months. And when they say it's going to take over a lot of AI jobs, AI is going to take over a lot of white-collar jobs, they're not kidding, you know? It's going to take over a lot of white-collar jobs that are currently being done by humans. And interestingly, the use of AI is being sold as a way of kind of like doing jobs that can be done by people. Why is that a priority? Why is it a priority that we lose jobs from people and give them to AI? Why can't AI be used to generate new jobs for people rather than take jobs away and do them for people? AI, if it is really going to be useful, is going to help people to be productive. It's going to help people with jobs rather than take jobs away from them. The reason it's taking jobs away from them is because the AI companies are using so much money that the investors are giving them at the moment that they have to have some kind of payback. And the payback is your business will run more efficiently with AI. So keep giving us money to generate AI because your business will run more efficiently with less employees. But it's a zero-sum gain, I think, in my opinion. You know, AI should be used to generate jobs, to generate meaningful employment for people, to give people reasons to get up in the morning, not to stay in bed because AI is doing all the work for them. HM Fan 2010, I'm a graphic designer and I use AI to generate images, but it's not perfect. As a matter of fact, I've had to remove a third arm from the Prophet Elijah the other day. Yeah, a third arm, yeah. I mean, I've played around with AI as well. I have. And yeah, the 6 fingers is a big thing. The 3 legs, the 5-legged horse. Yeah, it happens. I don't know why, but it happens a lot. I do play around with AI as well. I don't want to put my head in the sand. HM Fan 2010, as a graphic designer, yeah, I think we need to, especially they're coming for us, aren't they? If you're a graphic designer, yeah, I mean, it's a tricky time, isn't it? It's a tricky time with AI doing so much more. Charlotte says, hi everyone. Everyone was scared of the internet when it first came out. I think AI will be used as another tool, but nothing will replace our hand-drawn ideas. Here, Charlotte, 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. Yeah, I mean, AI is here to stay, and I don't think we should be afraid of it, but I think we should kind of make our peace with it and not just use it because it's convenient, because, you know, we've got to keep exercising that creative muscle in our heads. We have to keep doing our hand drawing and our hand painting, generate our own music, generate our own poetry. You know, we have to be able to keep doing that, because we are the secret sauce that has made AI into what it is and will make it into what it is in the future. There's a free version that limits the number of iterations, says Anthony. ChatGPT Plus is $20 per month. For those who are curious, try the free version. Yeah, I've been trying the free version. It's interesting. It definitely is interesting. You know, it is, yeah, I would advise everybody to kind of get comfortable with the fact that AI is here to stay and start playing around with it, because if you have nothing to do with it, I think you might be left behind. You know, I think increasingly we're going to have to kind of engage with AI. So getting used to it, I think, is something that we all need to do. Okay. Ginger Earl. About that vinegar and steel wool stain mix, do I replenish the vinegar as it evaporates? Thanks, Petri. Petri, if you want to jump onto that, yes, you do. Fantastic, Petri. Straight in there. I love it. Thank you, Petri. Yes, you can. I would top up with both vinegar and more steel wool. So if you're new to this, Petri has created a steel wool stain, a yellow stain, which stains glass from a peachy, fleshy color through to a kind of a beautiful lemony yellow. And it's not made with silver nitrate or silver chloride, which is the traditional silver stain. It's made with steel wool and vinegar. Petri's potion, as we call it, as Charlotte and Kate and myself call it, Petri's potion is steel wool stuffed into a bottle, topped up with vinegar, left on a shelf with the lid off because it effervesces gases, and eventually that steel wool starts to be absorbed and dissolve into the vinegar. And Petri says, top up with vinegar and more steel wool. I suppose it becomes more potent the more steel wool you add to it. Eventually you can paint this sort of watery, milky mixture onto the surface of glass, fire it in a kiln, and it will stain it. So yeah, it's a great thing to work with. Petri, thank you again for jumping onto the stream. Petri, I think I will also make you a moderator, because you are here many times and I very much trust your input. So where are you, Petri? Let me just make you a moderator. Where are we, Petri? Let me just jump on it. Yeah, Petri. Add as moderator. So Petri, you are now a moderator who can review and remove chat messages, hide or put users into timeout. So we now have several moderators on. Whether you're in chat or out chat, I'm imagining over the next weeks, some moderators will be able to jump on, some moderators won't, but I have a number of trusted moderators now who are going to look after the chat for me as well. Thank you guys for doing that. If you don't want to be a moderator, just tell me and I'll take you off of that. But I see you on here, you're trusted, you're very regular contributors, that's why you're now moderators. Ginger Earl says, I had a very robust reaction one night when I added a little more vinegar. An eruption! But I will follow your advice. I'm very curious about it. Fantastic. Yeah, we're all curious about it. Let us know, Ginger Earl 753, how this journey into steel wool stain develops over the coming weeks. We'd love to hear. Charlotte says, we did buy glass from Elliot. How can you not? Exactly. If anyone here is in the UK, I can thoroughly recommend attending one of his in the form of his demos. Very dramatic and such a lovely place to visit. Charlotte, I'm envious. I saw those amazing posts. A good crowd of people there. Isn't it a fantastic display? That Bethany Wood, Elliot's partner at Blowfish Glass, and himself have put up, displaying this amazing collection of handmade glass. Fantastic to see, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. So guys, I'm going to play you in a minute. Yeah, we'll be going for an hour. I'm going to play you a little video in a minute, which is a little teaser, a little taster for an upcoming video on conservation of a Victorian tracery panel. If you're interested in the world of conservation and how to go through the whole process of taking a traditional Victorian stained glass window and conserving it, this is the video for you. I don't often make videos that go through the step-by-step process of conservation, but this video is that. So before I get into any more of the chat, I'm going to play this video for you now. It's about 7 minutes long. It's not the whole video. It's a little sneaky peek of a video that's coming out next week. Let me just jump onto it now, guys, and I'll come back to answering your questions. And if you have any questions after watching this video, please don't hesitate to ask them. Where are we? It is... Oh, wrong one. It's this one. 1 second. Here we go. Hi channel members, new video on its way, re-leading of this window here, which is a Victorian tracery panel. We've done painting, we've done all of the kind of preparation work for doing the work. So it's now come out the kiln. We're now in the process of lighting it up. That's the main camera there, our overhead camera. Can't wait to share it with you guys. It's very much more a tutorial about conservation. So I don't really show very often the whole conservation process, but I thought it would be encouraging and informative for you guys to just see how it's done. But generally speaking, we don't encourage people to just have a go and restore historically important glass or church windows, etc., unless you have some kind of training and some kind of experience, because if you damage it or if you mess it up, that piece of heritage is gone and lost for future generations. So a little bit of care and respect has to be maintained for this type of work. But yeah, looking forward to sharing it with you. More coming soon. Bye for now. As you can see today, we have got a very interesting and unusual project in the studio. It's a damaged stained glass window, specifically from the top tracery part of an east window. And as you can see, it's in a pretty poor condition. We have an angel with wings and a section of inscription, but not all the inscription, and we have very few fragments to go on. So this is a little bit of a Sherlock Holmes exercise to try and discover what that original inscription was, and also to place back as much of the original glass as we can into the panel. Obviously, we're going to have to repaint some more pieces as well. So it's a really interesting project. I thought I would share it with you. So come with me on this journey as we conserve and restore this damaged tracery panel. So one of the first things we need to do is just photograph what we have to document it as clearly as we can in a variety of close-up pictures and full-size pictures. We're also then going to take some rubbings. Now these rubbings are a little bit like brass rubbings, where we actually put some paper over the panel, and then we take a wax crayon, just like a kid's wax crayon, and we rub across the paper to create what is effectively an outline or a plan of the lead matrix. And we do that on 3 separate pieces of paper, one that we keep as an archive, and one that we actually work on, and one that we use as a sort of plan for putting our fragments on. Because basically this is a jigsaw puzzle, and once we start to take it apart, we've got to know exactly where each piece of that jigsaw puzzle goes. And the crayon we're using is just simply this, which is, it's a wax coloring crayon. It's ideal for creating a rubbing. So we just apply a little bit of pressure, as you can see here. So this is the first of what will be 3 rubbings that we're going to take, and then we're going to carry out a very careful notation of all of the lead sizes, taking careful measurements so that we get the gauge of each lead, the width of each lead, and the thickness of each lead worked out. Now that we've completed taking our rubbings and we've taken all of the gauges and sizes for our lead work, we can begin the next stage, which is carefully dismantling the panel and rescuing as much of the glass as we can in preparation for cutting new glass to match as closely as possible. We're now downstairs on a larger bench because we need to spread things out a little bit here. So we've got the original panel, as you can see here. We have our rubbings, which is giving me a plan of where each piece is. I've got a second rubbing here with a light table underneath it. So as we release the pieces of glass from the lead matrix, we can carefully put them into place here. We get a sense of, you know, the positioning of each piece. You may also see this here, which is a template, which gives us a clear indication of exactly the shape that it needs to be in order to fit back into the tracery panel. So part of the process of choosing the right color palette is also then imparting that patina of age to the glass with the addition of painted textures and special effects to make the paint blend in with the existing color palette. There we go, guys. Just a little taster of a video that's coming out next week on conservation of a Victorian tracery panel. I'm installing the panel this Thursday, so hopefully we'll get some video of it being put into place and we can complete that video and get it out to you guys next week. Really looking forward to sharing that with you. So Petri answers Ginger Earl again, saying alternative, you may want to start a new bottle of Petri's potions as the solution improves with time, so you may miss out on the well-matured product. Fantastic, Petri. Yeah, it's a great, I mean, it's really worth, it's not a difficult thing to put together, and it's sitting on the shelf maturing over time, and you've got this brand new kind of color to play around with. David says, thanks for the advice on High Heart. You're very welcome, David. My pleasure. Ash Wynn says, hello from my college dorm. I'm working on my thesis animation right now, and it's nice to hear other real artists while I work. Ash, fantastic. Good luck with your thesis, your animation thesis. Wow, Ash, fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope it's going well. Do let us know how it is going. When do you have to have it in for? Sometime soon? I don't know. Let us know. Great that you're here today. And Nadia says, I'd like to make a lamp and scrape an ornament into the stained glass. Can this technique weaken the glass over time? Thank you. Nadia, you would like to make a lamp and scrape an ornament into the stained glass. So I'm presuming you mean etching. If you're using something like a Dremel drill, for example, which is like a dentist drill with a little rotating head, that can etch into the surface of the glass. If you're only etching the surface of the glass or scraping the glass to create an ornamental shape, it doesn't really damage the glass. It's not going to weaken the glass. It's only if you're going into the surface of the glass more than, say, 2 millimeters, would you really begin to weaken the glass? I don't think you're going to weaken the glass, especially if it's a lamp. A lamp is not subject to a lot of stresses. It doesn't have any wind pressure. There's not a lot of stresses and strains on a lamp. So I think you should be fine, Nadia, with that. Alexandra Taylor, 7003. Howdy from Texas. Alexandra, howdy to you too. I saw Halt Glass made a red flash with copper stain. Anyone else tried this? What have you learned? Well, I've tried it, Alexandra, and it works really, really well. He's using Debitus copper ruby that you purchase from Pele Glass in the Netherlands. I have some of the Debitus copper stain as well, which is a copper sulfide. It's called copper ruby stain, and it only works on the tin side of float glass. So it's very restricting in the sense that it only works on clear float glass. It doesn't work on tinted glass, doesn't work on handmade antique glass or rolled cathedral glass or opalescent glass. Only clear float glass with a tin side. So once you establish what the tin side is, you can paint or screen print your copper ruby stain onto that. It gets fired in the kiln. It's temperature sensitive and time sensitive. I found the ideal kind of glass is Pilkington's 4mm float glass, painted on the tin side, fired in the kiln up to 650 degrees centigrade, and held for, I think it was about 10 minutes. It might have been 20 minutes. I have to look at my notes. It might even be as long as 20 minutes. And when you get the glass back out, you get this beautiful blood red copper ruby stain. And Halt Glass Jim Cockrell, who runs Halt Glass, very talented, capable screen printing glass artist, I believe he uses his screen printing medium to screen print this copper ruby onto the glass. So he's getting a nice dense layer, a well-proportioned, even layer. So it looks beautiful, doesn't it? It looks like Saint Just red on white flashed glass. It's brilliant. And Jim is then screen printing more designs on top and then sandblasting the designs out of that. Very complicated, fantastic processes that he's developing. He recently got a grant from his local authority to invest in a larger kiln care kiln, which is a UK kiln maker and a sandblaster. And he is now developing this amazing range of sandblastable screen printed stencils that you can screen print onto the surface of the glass. You don't have to weed them out. If you know anything about vinyl stencils, when you apply a vinyl stencil to glass preceding sandblasting it, you have to weed out all of the delicate stencil details, which is extremely time consuming. Jim is working on a way of screen printing a rubberized glue, I'm presuming it's a rubberized glue, onto the surface of glass, letting that cure and then using that as a resist to sandblast through, and then rubbing that off without having to go through the laborious process of weeding out. So he's doing some very clever things. Alexandra Taylor, 7003. That is a quick answer to what Jim Cockrell is doing at Halt Glass, and it is fascinating to see. Jim is very amenable to answering questions, talk to him on Instagram or message him on his Facebook page. I'm sure you'll get some answers back. HM Fan 2010. Don't forget to give a thumbs up if you're on YouTube. Oh man, fantastic. HM Fan 2010, you are singing to the choir. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. Yeah, guys, leave a like, thumbs up on YouTube and Facebook. Tell that algorithm we want to know more about this wonderful world of stained glass. Kevin God 7775. Hello from New York, Kevin. Hello to you too. How are you? How is New York? How are you? Well, thank you so much for being part of the stream today on YouTube. Jerry Z says, Petri, I received my stained glass quarterly today. Your panels are amazing. So if you don't know, Petri features in this month's Stained Glass Quarterly magazine by the Stained Glass Association of America. I saw some pictures that Petri posted. They look fantastic. I'm really pleased that he's featured in this quarterly magazine, which is a very well respected full color kind of coffee table magazine showcasing work from artists all over the world. It was my pleasure to be featured in the previous quarter's Stained Glass Quarterly magazine, and it's great to see Petri is in this one. Petri says, thank you, Jerry Z. I've not yet received my copy. Really looking forward to seeing it. Yeah, it takes a while to get it. Mine took a little while. I could see it was arriving in the States, and it took a while to get posted to me, Petri, but it will pop through your letterbox any day now, I'm sure. Garbage in, garbage out. You're not wrong, Jerry Z. You're not wrong. AI as a tool is a mirror of the user. Yeah, it is. It is. It's like the talking mirror in Sleeping Beauty. I use AI to help reach my full potential. Yeah, I think AI can help you as a sort of way of rallying your thoughts. I think it can. It's like having somebody to talk through ideas with. And although it is a word predictor at the moment, and it is just mirroring, predicting the next sentence and predicting the next word and making the best guess of how to answer your questions, that can be a very useful exercise, you know, when you're kind of thinking through a concept or thinking through an idea. You can use AI as a way of helping you to kind of root out your thinking and to scaffold. It's a kind of scaffolding for you to kind of think through an idea and get to an end goal. But obviously using your own supercomputer in your head is the best method of all. You're so very welcome, says Petri. Does the liquid glue thing that holds the glass together cause harm to the body? Should you be wearing a mask when connecting the glass? Yeah, I presume you should. I mean, lots of these solvents are effervescing gases, and each solvent or each glue has its own PP recommendations, personal protection equipment recommendations. So usually that will be gloves to protect your skin and a mask and goggles. So I would suggest, just as a matter of course, the answer will be yes to having to wear masks and goggles and gloves and things like that when you're doing any kind of work with chemicals. It's always just advisable to do that rather than to ride bareback, because you never know quite what fumes you're breathing in or what contaminants are resting on your skin if you don't take good care of yourself. Tech will always change the workplace. It used to take four operators all morning on a camera to compensate an image for press gain. Later, Photoshop in 3 seconds with a curved tool. Jobs lost, must adapt. Yep. I hear you, Conduit. You're right. And the thing is, it's that eternal conundrum of convenience over quality. I think things that are convenient and quick don't necessarily create the quality outcomes. You can get quick solutions, but they're not always the depth and quality that you need. I mean, I use Photoshop a lot, but I don't exclusively use Photoshop. I still draw by hand. I draw by pencil and on paper. And I use Photoshop to augment my thinking. As we were talking earlier on, AI is used to kind of augment and add to your thinking rather than to do the thinking for you. But I hear what you're saying, Conduit One. and you're not wrong. Jobs lost, must adapt. Original Pal says, do you guys know the stained glass themed magazine called Vidimus? Yes, I do. I subscribe to it. They just released their first issue of 2026. Check them out. Yeah, they're great. I don't have their website address to hand, but if somebody in chat wants to put up the Vidimus website, it's a fantastic resource for anybody who's interested in stained glass. Charlotte says, just looked it up, not heard of it before. It looks great. Started in 2006. Yeah, absolutely. Lots of medieval historical info. Yeah, Charlotte, it's great. Vidimus is a very well respected, mostly conservation related magazine on papers on conservation issues. So Vidimus, somebody can find it, I'm sure, on chat. So guys, look, it is nearly 10 o'clock. We've been going for an hour and a half. I hope you've enjoyed today's stream. Please, as I say, hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, put a like on the Facebook page, support the channel if you feel so inclined by becoming a channel member. You can always leave stars during the live stream on Facebook. It is all about, oh yeah, Original Pal said vidimus.org. Thank you for that. So I'm presuming it's www.vidimus.org. Is that right, Original Pals? Yeah. So yeah, have a look at Vidimus. It is a really good resource, especially for conservation related subjects. And Hope Poyet the cat, or Hopi the cat. Really looking forward to the rest of the restoration video. Hoopoi the cat. Sorry if I'm getting your name wrong. Yeah, thank you. I hope you enjoy it. It's coming out next week. Can't wait to share it with you. There we go. www.vidimus.org. Come on, guys. Follow them. Join them. It's free to join. And you can get emails sent to you. It's a very well-regarded online resource for conservation and stained glass related subjects. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined the chat today, who's joined the stream on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much for being part of this amazing creative community, and we're going to do it all again next Tuesday. Looking forward to talking to you all then. Love you all. Keep making some stained glass. Keep on that creative journey. Keep this wonderful stained glass community of ours alive, thriving, and surviving in the 21st century. Have a good and creative week, everyone. Bye for now.